I'm a 3D animator, and I'm always trying to improve my skills with every new project. Of course, the higher quality my animations get, the more processor heavy they become, especially in rendering. Now my newest animation, which is still a work in progress as of posting this video, is very demanding. That's why I decided to try using a render farm. A render farm is basically a server with several powerful devices that render out your animation for you online. I thought this would be much more convenient for me, since using one would be fast, leave my computer free for me to use, and surely cost a small amount of money. Of course, I wouldn't be making this video if that was actually the case. My very first experience with the render farm turned out to be pretty bad, and I'll tell you why. Before I do, I just want to mention that the exact farm that I used is called GarageFarm.net, and while it's pretty popular for its apparent speed and low costs, I personally have experienced the opposite of what's usually said about it. Now at first, everything went pretty smoothly, with setup being incredibly quick and simple with little to no issues. You just create an account, install the application to your computer, install the Blender add-on, and you can immediately use the service straight from Blender. Uploading the blend file to the service can take a long time, but that's no big deal. The actual problems started happening when submitting the project to be rendered. I followed a video going through how to use it, and everything went incredibly fast and easy in that video. The roughly 20-second animation was rendered in 30 minutes and cost about $20 for the guy in the video. On my end, a 2-second shot of my animation was going to take about 5 hours to render. To be fair, I tried to render mine with over 1,000 samples at a 4K resolution, while the guy in the video rendered his at 1080p with 100 samples. The time it would take isn't a huge deal, but the cost would be. GarageFarm uses a credit system where you purchase credits with real money that are used up over the time your render is working. My attempt drained over 20 credits, which is equivalent to $20 at less than 1% of each frame being rendered. That's when I knew I had to cancel the render. Yeah, my settings were high, but I really didn't expect the cost to be that drastic. I decided to give it a second go, lowering the samples to 500. This time, rendering went much faster, only taking about 3 hours, which I would say is a little less than half the time my computer would take to render it out. It was fast, but it ended up costing me about $111. This was at the slowest setting too. For a 2-second scene that was only part of a longer animation, this was not worth it at all. Plus, several frames had weird defects, or weren't even finished rendering at all, leading to me having to render out those specific frames on my device to fix them. My settings were pretty demanding, but that doesn't change the fact that several frames noticeably didn't even render out correctly. I'd have better luck rendering out my animations on my computer at night when I'm sleeping, since it would only take slightly longer, not cost me anything, and would have no defects. Of course, this was just my personal experience with the render farm. Others may have no problem at all, but I just want to warn anybody wanting to invest in this that these issues could occur to you. Now this experience did cost me quite a bit, which sucks, but it makes me grateful that I even got the opportunity to try this. I want to thank you guys for supporting me on my YouTube channel. Anyways, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified when this animation I'm working on is finally released.